All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Still troubleshooting some things, but definitely looks like we're all ready to go. So thanks again, everybody, for joining our Moovs webinar here on today on June 28th, 2022. As always, we'll be going over any live workflows and questions or comments about the Moovs software. And towards the end, we'll save some time and go over our current releases, and then what's coming soon is what we'll wrap up with our conversation today. So as always, wanting to now open it up to our audience here that's joined us live. Who would like to kick us off?
I got a quick question for you, Amir.
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Good, sir. When y'all put the new update for the signage on the driver app, which was cool, there's no way to sign in and out of that app, is there? You basically have to delete it and reinstall it, right?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. So let's go ahead and just load the driver app on my end. So 1 second here as I share my screen.
I'm just not seeing a place where a driver can log in and log out, log off and log back in and get that update. So
yep. So as we can show everybody our new update, because I always like to go over it. Some people might have not seen it, but I know this was a highly requested feature, and we now have live let me make this mobile. We now have live our greeting sign. So this one's awesome for your drivers. I would definitely educate your drivers and start to use this feature right away. You'll get to save our environment, lots of paper that doesn't need to be printed. And also make it easier for your drivers to have a consistent experience with their passengers. So what you can do now in the driver links and the driver app is you can actually come in and see this button for the greeting sign. And what's great about it is it'll just pull in the passenger contact. And as you can see here, you now see, so all you'll do is turn your phone, tablet, or monitor, if you want to get crazy, up to the horizontal. And then this will show the passenger contact information. Now, what's not really obvious is how to get out of this. So if you click X, you'll be able to exit the greeting sign. So if you click the greeting sign, you click on the greeting sign, and then you click X. So that's the workflow to leave the greeting sign. And I believe, Joe, maybe that was why you asked about that.
No, what I was asking about is the driver app. Y'all sent an email out and said, tell your drivers to update their driver's app. So I went into my driver's app and I couldn't log out. So I had to delete the app and reinstall it on my phone to get that update.
Perfect. So so one thing I can just show everyone now, Moovs driver. I'm just getting the link right now for the Moovs driver app on the App Store. Let me just share my screen here. So your drivers won't need to log out and log back in unless for updating, let's just say. To update, you'll always see here for everyone that on both driver apps on the iOS and the Google Play Store, there's always a version right here, the version history. And we always will give you like what's the update log. And so what you'll see on your app, Joe, is you just click update. And then once you click update, the app will update itself.
Okay, the name sign, the signage is cool. Is there a way that we can, or maybe down the road, that can be modified? And that being said, I guess where would that come into play? Oh, for instance, we have the passenger's name, but they don't want their name displayed, but they would like to have their company name displayed. So is there a way, maybe down the road, where we can go in and customize that?
Yep.
Or the driver can customize it.
Yep, product team is working on some of those improvements, and a couple things there are including your company logo, right? So being able to display and not display, and then also customizing the greeting sign. So sometimes you might want to just put just your own custom text. So the product team is thinking about that for future updates. Thanks, Joe. Awesome. Anyone, yeah, as we're moving along here, thanks for kicking us off, Joe. Anyone else want to take the floor?
Yeah, Amir, Eric
Hey.
here. How you doing?
Great.
So I was just looking at the app. When you go to trips, it doesn't. It just if the drivers are done with the trips and you open trips, it just says total trip 0. Is there any way that we can add completed trips, upcoming trips?
Yep. Yeah, that's a great call out. I know one of the things we did in the current driver app, and this is something that, you know, Eric, this is something we're thinking about, but I guess operators have preferences here based on if they want drivers access to completed trips. So we're thinking about that because every operator likes the information to not be available to drivers after it's done. But what's coming soon is an earnings page, like earnings, like we have in the driver link, that'll show drivers their earnings related to past trips, but the information, like the actual completed trips history, is still something we're thinking about because some operators don't want drivers to have access to that information in terms of completed trips.
What the information just redacted?
Yeah, that can definitely, yeah.
Maybe just the trip number, the date, the time, maybe the customer's name, but nothing else.
Exactly. Take away like the pickup information, emails, numbers, and all of that.
Yeah, but with the upcoming trips, they get all that information. Exactly like what the gentleman said. It's if you take out some of that information, because I mean that app, in my opinion, it's not a bad app, but it's lacking quite a few things that and that's why these drivers are always bringing issues about this or that or the other. Because when they want to, if for example, if they want to see what jobs they did, instead of calling us and finding out what they did, they just go into the completed trips and they see exactly what they did when they're calculating stuff. It just saves time.
Yes.
Another issue with the app is when you're going into the upcoming, like when you get into your trip, you can't really go back and check what you have. Like if you're on a trip and you started the trip, you can't exit, you can't go back to the home page where it has the trips and the upcoming trips. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
100%.
Yeah. And is that like an X button or a back button or something. So if they're on the trip that they're doing and they wanted to check what's coming next or something like that, they can't get that information. They have to call and start being like, what's my next trip? Or they have to go to that link that has the text messages, and they get confused because if you dispatch to another driver, then they try to open that and they can't find it. You know what I mean? Yep. So I don't know. I'm just like this. It is a good app, but it's just lacking some of the back things.
I mean, you brought something to our attention that definitely is a critical upgrade that we're thinking about. And so to your point, I think just to reiterate what you said, we hadn't thought about, right, the option of the driver app needing to be like a driver during a trip needing to have access to other workflows. Yeah, but then it makes sense.
It
right
really
now,
does.
obviously. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's so many reasons they can be like, and then if we assign that job last minute because he's running late or something like that, and he needs to get to we need to change drivers. It kind of is, the flow kind of changes, And then another thing is there any way that we can have like a ping button, a ping noise, like if we assign them the job on the app, that they, like if they get a job that comes in that maybe it gives them some sort of alert.
Just to reiterate, for the second part, you're saying alert as in like an in-app notification?
Yes.
Yep, correct. So that's, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying in-app notifications for the driver app are on the roadmap for another like part of the driver app upgrades, because right now all the driver notifications are based on text messages.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome. Let's continue. Great questions, Eric. All right, Sean, I see a hand up. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Hey, Amir, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Thanks
I
for
know
joining us.
Yeah, no, I know we were going to have a one-on-one. I appreciate that time later with some specific questions. But, one of the things that I've seen, and again, is the ability to do some like bespoke choices in terms of data fields that need to be completed, and then the resulting output from those data fields, right? So examples can be what we want to share with specific documents as far as farming out, right? Or what fields are hard coded that need to be populated where we might not have enough information yet, right? Right now, for example, maybe I don't want to populate any pricing, right? Or I don't want to have to know, I mean, a good example is the vehicles, right? Like the VIN numbers don't necessarily apply across however you're using those vehicles. Or I might not have an actual flight number yet. So, on the back end, being able to sort of have a master data matrix that would apply to documentation accordingly, right? Sometimes we want to send a price. Sometimes we don't. For farming out's a good example. We might only want to send a name and a number. We definitely want to send emails, right? So how can I send confirms on the jobs that we took? We might not want the client. We might want to be able to put a job in to our system and be able to send a confirm, but not necessarily give the pricing on that. There's all kinds of different scenarios that are endless in those permutations, but really the ability to control what data gets input into the database and what output from that data can be selected for the various documents. I mean, where is the vision for that? And I say that because it might help from a programming perspective, might stop a lot of the one-off solutioning that you guys are doing right now.
Thanks for sharing, Sean. Lot to unpack there. I think the good news is that a lot of these things have been considered in terms of what information to display, when to display, and when not to display it. So that exists today, but what we don't have, and it's already part of our vision for specifically Moovs farming in and out, farming in and farming out specifically, and then depending on the different integrations, is the ability to have a lot of these things, we say customized, because here's the situation at hand. You might be working with someone that you've been working with for 20 years. You're not too worried about your passenger information and contact information to be shared. So, you feel more open about sharing that when farming out. Then there's situations where there's operators who just never share the email, never share the client number. That's their way of doing things. And, that's also something that's, being thought through. So a lot of those things are like the capacity of being able to do those things is here today. I think a lot of those things, obviously, just like all the things we're thinking about in Moovs today, are just based on our prioritization and our roadmap in terms of timing for some of these capabilities to be implemented.
Okay, and that's fine. Again, it is a lot. I'm just from a database perspective, I'm just taking a little bit of a reverse view of how data is both in and out, collected, reporting, et cetera.
Yep.
Versus the the modules that you guys have with each of the functions. So that's no worries on that.
Yep. Yep. And for example, right, like in the trip PDFs, right there, if I pull it up right now, let me just share my screen here. So for example, we have our trip PDFs that we can download and send. As you can see here, by design, trip PDFs don't have pricing because a lot of operators today use this trip PDFs to send to affiliates. And so what you'll see is that when you're in a farm out situation, so let's see if I can find right here, for example, I've farmed out this job and I can download this. All right, this is a farm in, so that's different. So I'm trying to find. So here's what it would look like farm in, right? So we give farm in related pricing information. So how much we're owed, how much we've received, and the status. And then in a case where it's farmed out, let's see if I can access it. Here you go. So here's a farm out, right? And then now I go back to download trip PDF. Right. And then again, we're not going to show your pricing, and we're going to obviously show the pricing between you and the other operator.
Okay, and the email from the contact isn't there either.
Let's just confirm. I didn't look for that. Good call out.
Well, I wouldn't want it there. I'm not sure if it is in the master
Yeah.
records.
It's
Let's
not.
look.
It's not.
Let's look. Let's look. It's not.
But the most important thing is when I try to use that Amir, it doesn't have flight information, so I have to go in and put it in the notes. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, but
We're adding that, Joe. Yep,
Huh?
that's a good one. We're actually that's on the near term
I mean, I've had to
roadmap.
resend it several
Yeah.
times. Like, I mean, oh crap, because I mean, I just didn't put all the notes in there.
But yeah, as you can see here, Sean, no email information. And then again, another thing we do in Moovs, if I go back to that farm in, for farm in jobs, we don't have email or numbers. And again, like depending on the operator, some operators don't like this at all because they're like, dude, guys, I have to give my passenger information to the affiliate. But on the exact opposite side, other affiliates, like I don't want affiliates to have access to the passenger number. So there's already thinking around how we're going to improve this visibility case by case, account by account, affiliate by affiliate.
Okay, and that's good.
Yep. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, and you just freed up because you answered my questions that we were going to talk about tonight. So
Oh,
you can take back your.
so we don't have a 7:30 date tonight. At,
well, yeah,
Awesome.
I give you back.
Let me know.
No, we
Thank
can.
you.
I appreciate you being flexible and available.
Yep. Thanks, Sean. Ed, how's it going, Edward? I see your hand up.
How you doing?
I'm great.
First, I want to say my drivers have been loving the app. My passengers have gotten great comments on it. I do have a couple things to see if it's on your roadmap that were brought up by my dispatch and my drivers. I'll go with the dispatch first. When we get and it may just be us not knowing the app, so let me pre-emphasize that. But when we get somebody that books a ride, we get a text. And then we have to remember that text date and go into the reservations and try to find it. So we can book it. Are you guys looking at having a tab on all the ones that we haven't, like they came in and we need to deal with, instead of always going back to the text for that was the things the dispatcher was like, that gets complicated for her. And I didn't know if you already had it, and other than putting in a certain date range or that type of thing, if it's just like a tab that shows ones that we need to assign.
So it's so funny, Ed. I just had a meeting this morning with one of our larger accounts. They had a similar issue, like for accounts that are getting anywhere between a couple to a few reservations automated a day. Right. It's almost like, whoa, like we don't even know which ones came in today or which ones didn't.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it sounds like that same issue that's going to be happening with you. Of course, right now it's by trip date, open, closed. There's no easy way, right, to see that. So what I did with this operator this morning, and again, this is something we'll now need to be chatting with you and that operator and maybe many other operators about this problem and how to implement that into Moovs. But what we did with them, Ed, is there's the texts But I feel like what's better is we created, I don't know if you're using Gmail, but any email interface, we created an auto rule that every time a reservation comes into the email, it now is in a flagged account, in a flag tag. So let's say in Gmail. And then what you can do with your team, right, is someone who can manage those reservation emails and have a process to where once they, I don't know, whatever you do, confirm, finalize, and then you archive those emails, and then you and the rest of the team can have visibility into all the new reservations and where we're at with all new reservations that have come through for your business.
Okay. We use forget what it's called now. Sorted
Okay,
for our
Sorted.
Gmail, and that's how we move things across.
perfect. So if you're using Gmail, you
Mhm.
should be able, and again, I'd be happy to set these up. I actually enjoy these process improvements.
Okay.
We can set it up together. And what we'll do in Gmail is that in the Moovs emails, we made really easy for Gmail and other email products to use. And we can easily set up these auto configurations. And I mean, don't get me started on Zapier and what we can do there. But I think for now, we can set up those flags and set up a pretty good process so you don't have to miss anything.
Okay, I would appreciate getting with you on that one.
Yeah.
The other thing my drivers would like, as you know, every ride we do has to be booked. Otherwise, it's considered a taxi ride for hail. But sometimes the drivers drop somebody off at a hotel and somebody needs a ride. They're able to book it quickly through your app, but they're not able to grab credit card information.
Mm-hmm. So I'll show you, we're looking to improve this customer education. It's definitely on the product team, but here in the Moovs booking tool,
that's what we've been sending them.
Any customer can log in and add as many cards as they want to their profile.
Okay.
And so this would be the way that I would encourage that credit card collecting. That's the safest way for you and your customer, and obviously the most secure. So, in this example, if I want to see if I have my number. Let's see. Awesome. Let me just log in real quick. Copy code. Boom. Now I'm in, right? Or profile. And then here's like cards on file.
Mm-hmm.
And then here you can just you can put a card in for your Mr. Manager, and then you put in their card number. And then, and again, obviously the easier we make this, the easier it is for drivers to own this process, right? It might not be the easiest thing for drivers to go to your customer link and then log in and then do this. But at least for now, there is this. Yeah, go ahead.
What we did is we took that link and made a QR code and put it on a card. I want to say like a bookmark card, laminated, and put it in the back seat.
That's smart.
The back of the seat, little pouch sticking up, so the customer could just grab it and scan it.
That's smart, because this is a link that's unique to this page. So I think that's a really good idea, right? So you could imagine this link right here is behind the QR code, and then they can scan the QR code. It'll bring them here and then get them to log in and then get access to this ad card.
Okay. And then one other question. We're thinking about, because again, we know you're going to come out with a white label app sometime in the future, correct?
Yes.
But in the meantime, can we use a program like Appy and turn our web page into an app where they can also book?
Yeah, that's actually, we've worked with a few operators. We haven't done it, but they've the idea was that they've been able to iframe the customer widget into a app with Appy to deploy that to the App Store. The only thing I don't know is the results, right? I think that's always one thing okay, perfect. Yeah,
I don't. It last night, just on the test version where you can test it.
Okay.
It actually, if they have your web page set up, that's the key. You guys designed your web page maker so well that Appy just immediately threw everything in, looks great, works well.
Wow. I mean, that's great to hear. I mean, maybe what we can do, right, is we could, and I'll talk to my team about this. It'd be awesome to, maybe once you've deployed it, we can share this. This is great knowledge for every Moovs customer. I know a lot of Moovs customers want to have some sort of white label feature, and maybe we could set up some sort of workshop or a session to enable this for everybody. I think that'd be awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed. Anything else?
Nope.
Cool. Appreciate it. All right. Hey, what's up, Steven?
Hey, how you doing? How's everybody?
Good, good.
I have one quick question. How do we get the color code for each individual car that I saw that you did for purple, yellow, green, or whatever? It lets you know what car is out when you're looking through your how should I say, your calendar.
Oh yeah. So, what's nice is the engineering team built this color code based on your vehicle already. So you don't have to do anything. Obviously, you can't customize the color of like the Lincoln Continental luxury sedan, but it automatically will color code the vehicles. So you'll know like one color equals one vehicle, and then you'll see the variety of colors here on the calendar view, whether you're using month, week, or day. And then obviously here you have all your vehicles that you can filter by.
Okay, and one more question. When we make bookings, can they go directly into our Google Calendar?
If you want, we can. So we don't have that yet. That's a direct integration into Google Calendar. It's definitely part of our integrations roadmap. But one of the things, Stephen, that I've started to do more and more with operators is kind of build workflows through this software called Zapier. And that's it's an integration software that you could create calendar events based on emails. So what we could do is we could take every time you get an email that's for a reservation, we could take that email and create a Google Calendar invite. And it takes no more than 30 minutes to set up.
I just got to set up something with you and we can go from there.
Yeah, I would be happy to help you set that up. Obviously, it's, like it's separate from Moovs, but again, I think, I understand the pain point, and this is definitely something that that I can offer in terms of a workshop and getting that set up.
Okay, and also oh no, never mind. That was my last one. I'll think of the other one. Sorry about that.
Awesome. No, you're good. Great questions. And yeah, and again, Stephen, just schedule time when you want to get that set up, and we'll go ahead and go through that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Awesome. We've got about 5-10 more minutes, maybe a couple more questions before we jump into some of the current updates that we've released over the past week. Let's see if we have anyone else.
Hey, Amir, I'm just looking at the other company, and I wonder how they do that with the iCalendar. Just they just have a deal with them or something.
Is this for sorry, what are you looking at, just so I make sure?
Another company. I didn't want to say it online, but Limo Anywhere. I'm just looking at their obtain a URL, and it has manage.mylimobiz.com and then iCal, and then this is how they drop everything into iCalendar.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so I have not a lot of insight in how other softwares have done it. I know that our goal in doing it, I don't know, again, how other softwares have done it, is to have a direct integration to Google Calendar first. And then, so the idea would be that you could sync between Moovs trips and Google Calendar, and then the calendar invites would update accordingly to the Moovs trips.
Hey.
That is the only thing about iCalendar with Limo Anywhere. It does not update. So
yeah, that's I know that's honestly one of the reasons this is taking us a little longer. So for operators that really want this, right? Like I think the easy thing would be to create it, but then now what if it gets canceled or the pickup time gets changed? Now, you know, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something we're thinking about. Thanks, Joe.
Hey, I'm here. Samuel.
Hey, what's up, Sam?
All right,
Samuel?
how are you? Hey,
Good.
two things. I'd like to schedule an appointment with one of you guys. I have so many things lined up on the VIP
Okay.
products that I need to discuss with you guys offline.
Okay.
Then inline, and if I need to issue a statement, like a monthly statement to a client, every month I send them an invoice or statement. I'm having problem creating a statement for them. So,
Got it. Yep. So let me just think real quick. So this is related to setting up an invoice? Am I understanding that correctly?
The job is done. Ending of the month, I need to send them a statement so they can get paid. Their
Yep.
VIP account.
Got it. Perfect. It's so awesome that you asked this now. Again, this sounds made up, but I had another meeting with a gentleman this morning who works with a large corporate account in LA, and he does 30-day billing cycle.
I like to
And so that's his, you know, one of his largest accounts. And he wanted to see like, hey, how can we make this best work in Moovs? And we actually got to a really good solution together. So I'm happy to share that right now with you. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Share screen, desktop too. All right. So what we're going to do, Samuel, is we're going to go through on how to, well, I guess, first of all, let's make sure, are you doing 30-day billing invoice cycles with this VIP?
Yes.
Perfect. And I'm just going to ask a couple of questions. You don't have to be, if you don't want to share, just tell me you don't want to share. But is this VIP, is this like a large account or just one person?
It's a company account, but that company account, I only pick out their CEO. Then every
Perfect.
month I send them the
Perfect.
statement.
The reason I ask is because there's so many different ways of maneuvering this. So I want to make sure I provide like the tailored invoice trip reservation experience, because that's super important in Moovs. So to get started, for example, this is, you know, one concept in Moovs, as everyone sees here, you can have reservations with multiple trips, right? And what I think this applies more to you, Samuel, versus an operator who I talked to this morning. He picks up 50 passengers a month. And so having all of that in one reservation is going to start to give you a headache. In your case, if it's one passenger that you're picking up, no matter how many trips, it's going to be easy.
Okay.
So what you'll want to do here in Moovs is you create a reservation every month, right? So in this case, for month of June, right, you would create, so let's just go ahead and do it. Let's say create, right? The most important thing here is the booking contact. So what we went over is you would create a company. So if you want to you don't even have to have a company name. So with this gentleman, with another gentleman, we set up a family. So like the VIP is a family that they pick up. So you could say like, you know, the Lemo family, and then that's the company. And then what you can do with the Lemo family is then associate contacts, right? So for example, let's say you have a contact of the Lemo family. This could be like a booking contact, and maybe the booking contact for the family, there's not really necessarily a booking contact or a company. You can always just add, let's say, booking contact. What's the most important information here is the email, because anytime you send invoices or send reservations, you're going to want it to send to this email. So let's say for your example, the CEO, you're going to not probably send this to the CEO. There's an executive assistant or someone who manages most of this. So then you would have that person's information, right? The lemocompany.com. And then the second most important piece of information here is this phone number, because this is the mobile number that she or he can use to access their account. And then if there's any automated messages that need to be sent, so we'll enter their mobile number here, and then we can associate them to the Lemo family. And then now we click save. Oh, oops, missed a digit, save. So what I've done now in your case is you have the company, you have the booking contact set up. That's good. Now what we'll do is we'll come create the reservation. Let's say And then here we can type in the contact. So booking contact for the limo company. Here we have the different order types. And then in the trip details, here's what's important. Again, this is every operator makes this decision differently. It's important to either change the trip passenger to a temporary passenger or an actual contact. So in your case, right, do you want the CEO to receive the text message updates
No.
every time the driver does the messages? A lot of CEOs might find that annoying. Some
Yeah.
CEOs might love it. This is your choice. So what you would do in this case is you can replace with a temporary passenger. And even if you wanted to, you could put Mr. CEO if the CEO doesn't want his first or last name, right? Whatever your tailored experience is to this VIP, or you could even put their name. So limo car. And then in this case, no number. So then what happens now is every time you pick up this individual and all those text message updates, they don't get sent to anyone. What we've done with a lot of other operators is the booking contact says, Samuel, I need to know when the driver's on the way. Where's the text messages? No worries. We'll add you as the number. So 818-142-8124. And then now all those text messages that the driver updates and the customer tracking and everything will go to this number, even though the CEO's number or the CEO is the passenger, right? So this is another way of, different ways of providing the VIP. And then again, as we continue to go, we create the trips for this individual. I'm just going to do this really fast so we can get through it. And then the point here is that once you've created this reservation throughout the month of June, what you'll be able to do, so let's save view reservation, we can continue to add trips even easier. You can just duplicate trips, right? So you can just keep, same information, for tomorrow, or sorry, June 12th, save trip. And then he calls back, she calls back again and wants another trip, right? So then you just continue to add trips, right? Now where I'm getting with all of this is now what's easy is you have one reservation for the whole month.
Yeah.
And then once the month is over, so now it's June 28th, you come back, you close the trips, right? And we'll get to this soon. This is going to be one of our updates that we're providing. Here you would have your driver payout automated, your driver would be assigned, but we're moving fast in the sake of time. So we're just going to close this trip. We're going to close this trip. Now the reservation is closed. Once a reservation is closed, we can go here into invoices. We can go here to create. And now what we're doing is we're creating an invoice for the booking contact.
Okay.
So the booking contact in this case was booking. And then as you can see now, it automatically pulls in the reservation and all the trips, right? In your case, if you had 30, 40, 50 that were closed in June, then we create this. We can leave a message here. Thanks for your service, or thank you for choosing Samuel. And then due date. So the due date is customizable. It defaults to a week, in your case, whatever your due date is. So let's say 2 weeks after July 1st. So 2 weeks, save. And then now we've created the invoice. So it's going to be here in pending. And then you open it, you have access to all the information. And two things can happen now, Samuel. One is obviously we can send it. So like this will send it to the booking contact. So I'm going to click that. Boom, email was sent. Now the booking contact booking email receives right here an email. You have an invoice that's ready for payment. The other thing you can do is download it and send it, let's say on your own, right? If you want to do this differently, mail it, fax it, whatever you want to do with this PDF. I'll open it for you so you can see it. So here's the invoice, right? Billed to this is going to be your obviously business information, and then all of the other information here, like each trip, the order number, amount, what's been paid, and what's due.
Great.
And then, sorry.
I said, good.
Yep. And then the last thing I'll show you here is one of my favorite features in Moovs is we always give you this copy, because you can copy things and see them on your own.
Okay.
And so I always like to say like, okay, so the customer's going to get an email. What are they going to see?
Okay.
So we can see. So we copy the invoice here, open up a new tab, paste, enter, And now here's the link that the VIP gets.
Okay.
Look, they can even download their own PDF. So they click this, now they can download the PDF, and then they can send this into their corporate booking system. You know, most corporations use different softwares for billing. So we've made this friendly with that billing so that they can just download it and attach it, making less work for you, providing a better customer experience. And then again, the last step, and then I'll stop talking, is that customers can actually pay on invoices. So again, this is only if you have credit card, right? Like today you can only pay on credit card. Coming next year, one of the features of Moovs Financial is enabling paying by ACH. So then soon what you're going to be able to do is automate that payment for ACH payments, because today, all of us as operators that take ACH payments, we have to track the accounting. And then our corporates are asking us, hey, like, did you get the money? Can you give me a receipt? What's the receipt here? Where now soon, and next year, you'll have the ability to accept ACH as a payment method. Today, it's just card. So a corporate can pay here, right? But then what you'll do, if they don't pay card and they just mail you a check or send you a wire, you'll come here and then you can manually charge, right? Like let's say wire or check,
Okay.
charge, and then the invoice is zeroed out. Once the invoice is zeroed out, you'll see here that it now shows up as paid. Thank you for choosing payment method other, amount due 0.
Okay. The last question, then I'll let you go. After all this, how do you do the survey? Let's say customer, you finish with the customer, you close the account. Okay. Is there any way you can implement that you send a survey to a customer to give us the feedback on the driver, how the service? Can we implement that?
Yeah, so I have a design for it.
Okay.
So it's on our roadmap. And again, I think right now is a good set time to encourage everyone always to go to the Moovs product roadmap and add and upvote, because we really take that roadmap and your feedback seriously. But to answer your question, Samuel, it is on our roadmap to update the text message that sends when it says done, because when your driver moves the status to done, there's a text message that goes out that says, like, thank you for riding. Yeah, it's somewhere in here. Here you go. Thank you for riding with it. So the feature is going to add a review link.
Yeah.
And then that review link can be your Google, your Yelp, whatever your review system, software, platform that you want to encourage customers to use.
Okay.
Yeah. Great question, Samuel. Thank you.
How's that taking? I mean, wouldn't that be a simple fix to be able to go in there and allow operators to have access to that messaging?
Like customize the messaging, you're saying, Joe?
Yeah, customize it and then add the link, or y'all gonna make it look a little bit special?
Yeah, it's more around like, so the feature to customize all these messages is further like down the line. What's coming sooner is just being able to add that link to the last text message.
Right.
Awesome. So I see Moises and Jonathan. So Samuel, do you have anything else before we move on?
I'll call to schedule. I'll send you a test to schedule one-on-one appointment with the therapy, or because I have to run out too. All right. Thanks, Amir.
Yep. And then here, just to show you real quick, my product manager, Tyler, just sent this to me.
Okay.
He was listening in on the conversation. He said, look, here you can show, though this is coming on our roadmap, send automated trip rating text messages to passenger, automated trip text rating text messages sent to passenger after trip is completed. Here you can add any link. So an example, if you're, Google reviews or whatever you want that link to be, and then that'll automatically send when it's done.
Okay.
Yep.
That works. Thanks, man.
Yeah, and then Joe, just to show you, here's the logout that's coming soon for the driver app. So I meant to show you that earlier, but I just remembered. So there's that. Cool. Let's go to, and then Aman, I see you had a couple questions in the chat that I'll address here soon. And I'll move to Moises and then Jonathan. Go ahead, Moises.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so Amir, so it's just to elaborate a little bit on what Sammy was asking about the billing, and I think we spoke about it already. It's just how we can customize the invoice as far as the instead of billing the booking contact, you want to bill a company.
Yep. So what you can, the current, yeah, let me share my screen again and then go back to Moovs. So we don't currently have like invoice a whole company and all of the orders that are associated to it, but we do have that coming soon, I believe next quarter. But right now, one of the things that you can do is, and I was doing this with an operator this morning, is if you go into your trip view at the end of every month and you have the booking contact here, and what you can do is go into each reservation at the end of the month in your filter, and you can actually replace the booking contact for those orders. And then what you can do in terms of right now is then change the booking contact to that one booking contact so that then you can invoice that company at the end of the month. But then on the roadmap is that you'll have functionality in invoices where instead of having it by a contact, there'll be another section that says company. And then you can just add the company name and then it'll do the same thing.
Perfect. I have a whole bunch of questions, but if I continue to
Okay.
talk, we're not gonna have enough time.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if you want to, you can schedule some time with us, Moises, on a one-on-one, and we can go through all of them together.
Perfect.
Thanks, Moises. Thank you. Jonathan?
Okay, two things. Well,
Yep.
Well, three. They're quick questions. I have a customer. We ran the credit card for the trip. It went through. They booked another trip. It didn't go through. So my question is there any way for us as operators to update credit card information, or it has to be on the customer side all the time?
Great question. So what I'll do is I'll go through the flow of how credit card information is stored today. So all credit card information is stored on the contacts. So by accessing your contacts and finding that contact that you just mentioned, you can open up any contact profile, and then you'll see a section with the credit card information here. You can actually access more information for credit cards by clicking the ellipses and then clicking edit. And you actually get information that you can edit. What you can't edit for obvious reasons, but I'll explain, is credit card number, because credit card number can't be saved given the security and the risk to credit card numbers. But you do have access to zip codes and expiration years. So if that's ever an issue, you can go ahead and update that on your Moovs profile. So in this case, if the expiration date changed, you can go ahead and update that and click save. And what you also get access to, Jonathan, and I wish I could hammer this concept into every operator's head right now at the same time, but it's just really hard, is when you're working with new customers, I highly, 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 highly encourage always to come check some of these security risk measures in terms of like if the CVC check is passed and the zip check is passed, because these indicators often correlate to chargebacks and disputes that you could preempt when seeing these things. And then also another one I would check, Jonathan, is name. So anytime you see a name that might not make sense in the reservation, it probably makes sense to encourage more secure methods to manage this reservation. So this is, again, it's hard for us to automate and build software around these things because it's just, we don't know if AK is, Jim's sister or AK is a fraudulent person. But what we can do is give you this information so that you can make better decisions based on your own business. The other thing I'll show you is that all payments have the same access. The access is being improved on, but today to get access to all payments and Moovs, you come to any trip and click edit trip, and then money. Oh, bad example. There's no payment. Let me find one with a payment. Here we go. Edit trip, money. See here, it's again, I can't tell you. So I am managing our chargeback and Moovs financial team. And I've seen this too much that we'll go here to click view more and the risk evaluation says high. And then I tell the operator, I'm like, why did you move forward with this $1,300 reservation when the risk evaluation was high? Like, did you do any other extra procedures? So always remember that we give you access to risk evaluation, and remember that the likelihood of fraud and risk evaluation high, it's highly correlated. So just protect yourself, use this information to your own discretion, and you'll get access to this for every payment that's made on Moovs Financial in the edit trip money tab, and then click view more.
Now, so that person that got that, I guess whoever you just talked to about, they should have used the payment link and sent it to the customer, right?
They did. And it's
Okay.
still, it still did. Yeah. Just so for everyone to know, right? The payment
So how
link
do
isn't
they
going to block.
mitigate that?
The
I mean-
payment link isn't going to block risk evaluation high, right? Risk evaluation high, just for everyone to know, like there's no guarantees. We're just, the financial services network is just recognizing this as high. And now it's, again, up to you as operators, right? The same way that you decide on how to set pricing, how you purchase vehicles, however you want to do business. Like, I just would encourage everyone to have their own, when it's risk evaluation high, have their own workflows, that you would run. So like, I could recommend workflows, right? I work with operators and say, look, you can go back to old school, right? And like, if the risk evaluation is high, right, then you can go back to credit card authorization, confirming someone's card name and card ID. But even then, what I've seen often is that customers make fraudulent IDs. And so it's just a really tough game to play. But again, just be careful is what I would say, and just use some of these features to your advantage.
So he used y'all's payment link. They made the payment. It was high. What's the likelihood of his chargeback? He'll win that chargeback, right? No.
No, because like the thing is, we can't, right? The point of the chargeback is that the customer committed fraud, right? So we can't, as a financial service product or any financial service product, there's bad people in the world, right? They're committing crimes. And so when customers are committing crimes, we're doing our best to prevent that for you. But of course, like there's no way for us to completely prevent criminals in the judicial system.
The last seminar, I tried to locate it in YouTube. Is there any way I can access the last seminar you guys did?
Yep.
Or can you email me a link? Because
yes,
for some reason it told me that I don't know, YouTube sent a notice saying that the seminar was inappropriate or something like that. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I was just going to respond to that. So for whatever reason, our team is in touch with the YouTube team, because their YouTube algorithms have flagged our webinars and removed some of them. So like, for example, the last couple. So we're working with them to see why is the algorithm marking our webinars as and removing them. We don't know why yet. But as soon as we do know why, we're confident we're going to be able to get them back up so that we can have the recordings of the webinars at our access.
And then one of the final question, I heard the guy mention about the Appy app. Can he or someone else, because I went into the app store to try to find it and I couldn't find it. So can you send me a link of the icon or, so I can try to integrate that into my operation?
Yep. So I think, it was Edward, and if I'm not mistaken, Edward, so I don't want to play telephone, but I think you were referring to Google's white label app creator when you went Appy, but I can follow up with Edward. There it is. Perfect. There's the link.
Okay.
Thanks, Edward. Awesome. So anything else, Jonathan, before we move on to some of the updates?
No, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you. So lastly, so as we continue to wrap up here, I wanted to just one thing, Aman, I know you mentioned alias companies. So I want to make sure I covered that. And then your second question were actually as part of our what's coming soon. So in terms of alias companies, are these for company contacts or companies that you're farming with? So I just make sure I can actually address the question here, because we have companies in our contacts. So if I share my screen here, but then of course we also have affiliates and creating external affiliates as well. So as he's typing it up, what I'll do on this coincidentally is I will go through some of our updated features that we just launched. Okay, here we go. Alias means adding multiple companies in the system. So you can add companies here. And what we can do, Aman, is specifically schedule some time also and maybe go through some of the, I'm sure you have a specific problem, and we can go through it together in a one-on-one session sometime today if you have time. If not, whenever your calendar permits. So to go over some of the features, team, that we've released that are significant, I think one that had been asked for quite some time and the team just built is now you can come into any reservation, one-way trip, and be able to click return, add return trip. So now you can create round trip reservations right here on the reservation screen. And the biggest feature we released this past month, one of the biggest features released this past month now, and I would encourage all operators to take a look here because it'll assist your driver payables, is each driver now has driver payout settings on how you want the software to automate calculating your driver payouts in Moovs. So as you can see here, there's different settings that are related to paying drivers hourly for hourly jobs, paying drivers on one-way trips / transfers. And then the last setting, which is very important, is how you split the gratuity from the Moovs pricing to your drivers. And that's anywhere between 0 and 100%. And what's nice is that now with this feature, as you continue to update, say on these different payout settings, as soon as you've updated the driver payout settings, depending on if you're using driver links or driver apps. And the idea here is that in driver links, the time will be calculated right here from on location to drop off. So when a driver clicks on location to drop off, in the driver app, as you can see here, when we change to the driver app, the driver payout automation actually can work from garage out to garage in. So depending on how you want to pay your drivers here and how you want the software to calculate the price, this is a setting that we've left up to you. And now based on the drivers here, you'll notice that in Moovs, we've updated the closeout experience to make it even easier to close out a trip. So as you can see here, you see on the closeout trip, there's an icon. And this icon indicates that as soon as you close out the trip, boom, driver payout has been automated. And here you'll see the driver payout total amount in terms of how your settings are. And you can even update it here, which is nice. So if you wanted to add extra or you modify, you'll be able to make that happen and then close trip.
Mayor,
Any comments? Yeah.
it doesn't automatically add the gratuity, or do we have to add that in?
No, it does. That's the setting. So let's go
Okay.
here to drivers. I just didn't have it for that driver, but look
Okay.
down here,
Well, I was just
driver
checking.
gratuity.
Okay.
Yep. So if you change this to 100.
Yep.
And then the gratuity will automatically add.
Okay. When you did it, I didn't see it drop it, so I was just asking.
For that driver, I don't include the gratuity. So as you can see here,
Okay.
yep. But yeah,
Thank you.
that'll be added. Great question, Mark. All right. And then now the grand finale, as we jump off, is what's coming soon. So I've showed a couple things throughout the webinar, but I think what I'll do is I'll specifically show a couple features that are being released. I think the most exciting one for operators that are doing quotes is our sales quote automation will be released by next week. So this is awesome information for all of us that are doing quotes. So coming next week, you'll have in the ellipses for all quotes, you're going to have an automated sales feature. So you'll be able to click send quote text with sales automation. It'll pull up the actual automation here. And what this automation is going to simply do is it's going to send 3 texts with a link to the order that's to the quote so that the customer can then confirm. And then after 3 texts, the product will auto archive the quote. Managing your quotes has never been easier with sales quote automation. And probably my favorite feature, just like all of our activity logs, is you're going to get insight if they click the links. So every time you send a quote, just like the emails, you'll be able to navigate to see if they've clicked the link, and every time that they click the link. We're really, really excited about this one, and we're going to be all seeing this in our Moovs products by next week. And then now on so luggage is coming soon. So what I can show here in terms of luggage. And then the other one that's coming soon is our meet and greet. So I know that's been requested a lot by operators. So we're going to show you here luggage. So you have the ability to turn on the setting. So for operators that want to have this setting on, you'll go ahead and turn it on in preferences. And as soon as you've enabled it, you'll see that now your customer app, customers will be able to edit their additional trip information. And with editing, what they're going to be able to do is get access to this updated trip info, fully customizable through the customer app by any customer. So they'll be able to here to adjust their passenger count, passenger contact, luggage count, carry on, checked in, and oversize, and even update any trip notes as well.
Oh, it's cool, Amir. I like that.
Thanks,
Great
Joe.
job. I like that.
Thanks, Stephen.
Real quick question on the new dynamic pricing real quick. Is there a way we can do that by category, airport drop off, like airport pickups? Everybody knows lately in certain areas of the country, airlines are fouling people up by, they're landing, but they're sitting on the tarmac for an hour and a half or whatever. So that being said, with the dynamic pricing, being able to change the airport pickup, adding a percentage instead of just doing the times.
Yep. So we do have on our improvements to dynamic pricing, this concept for customizing by order types. Don't have an estimated timeline for it, but again, I would encourage to check the roadmap, upvote it, and even request it if it's not there yet. And then just to quickly show everyone, this is what it's going to look like in your Moovs operator app. So additional trip info will have a section here that you can click and get access to all the luggage information. And then of course, we'll give you all the information here. So if they've selected luggage, or if you've updated the luggage, we'll let you and the customer know through all the different areas. So for example, on the PDFs, and also trying to find it, the driver app. So drivers will get access to that information as well, so that drivers will know beforehand that there's 2 carry-on and 3 checked in, and be expecting that.
Amir,
Yes.
quick question, with the, we keep saying customer app. Is there a way that we could have, like maybe on our website or something, that the customer can download, kind of like a Moovs customer app, like an icon or something that they can have on their phone, and once they want to make a reservation, they just have to go to that, rather than having to type in the website name and then go to booking, and you know what I mean? Is that
Exactly.
something possible?
Yep. So we're building something out like that's going to make this all like a more customized experience.
Right.
But Edward and Jonathan, I know a lot of operators, what you can do today is use an app like Appy to then get your booking tool into Appy, and then Appy can can do it similar to what you're saying. And what the Moovs app becomes, so like, for example, Eric, your app would be white labeled, published to the App Store, and people would download it. And then all it is it's the same mobile version of the current booking tool.
Got it. Thanks, Amir.
Yep. Okay. And then, so now the last feature before we jump, one that I'm also really excited about is this updated pickup time when flight arrival time changes for airport pickups. So what you'll see here is a setting. So once you turn this setting on in the preferences here, automatically update pickup time when flight arrival changes. So what you'll see now is the pickup time will always adjust with an icon to indicate that the pickup time has been modified because of the estimated arrival time of a flight. So we show the indicator, and we're going to do this throughout the Moovs application. So as you can see here, you'll notice that the estimated time and now the pickup time are now updated. I hear someone clapping. And then and then on the driver app up here, we'll just notify the same thing, right? Like, here's the original pickup time, but anytime there's a change in the arrival time, we'll update the pickup time. We'll update the pickup time, but this is the better experience for you and for your drivers, just so that, there's always subjectivity to, as we all know, flights. And then I think there was one more here. No, that's it. Those are the upcoming airport releases. And Robert brings up a great point before we jump, is that most iPhones, you can save Safari links as an app. And you also, for iPhones, for iOS and Androids, you can actually create apps through shortcuts. So I have a YouTube video to create apps on our Moovs YouTube channel. Again, it's sophisticated, but it's possible through this video to create any link, Chrome or Safari, to then save to your phone. And then you don't even need to build an app on the iOS store, because then they could just always click that link. It looks like an app, it acts like an app, it's the same thing. It saves you a lot of time and money. Then they can just easily access that. So that works as well. Great call out, Robert. All right. Another amazing webinar, and another great time that I got to have with everybody that attended live. I appreciate everyone that takes this time, joins us, asks the great questions to give us the knowledge that all the Moovs operators need across the states to, help them and assist them in the same questions that they probably have as well. Hopefully this time, Jonathan, sooner than later, we're going to get these webinars authorized by YouTube to be on our Moovs YouTube channel. we'll definitely let everyone know the updates there. And for everyone that I mentioned, reach out to me through our Moovs chat and get access to our one-on-ones on any sessions that you would like related to anything that you have top of mind. So, oh, yep, Joe. Saw you.
Just real quick. I know you harped on this many months ago about this payment thing, and it's really got me concerned, about this guy that might have got screwed over. But what is there to do? Is there nothing to do? Because you said if you use that payment link and the customer made that payment, and we know it could be a criminal. That's just the chance we take by using Stripe, huh? I guess anybody, right?
It's just remember, as a business owner, you take a risk about being a business owner, right? You take a risk in hiring drivers. You take a risk in driving your car and getting it serviced, who you service it with, what parts you buy for your car. There's risks that we're taking every day as business owners. And I believe that each business owner here, regardless of the decision you make, is up to the business owner to be ethical and make the best decisions. We can't control. What we also can't do as business owners is also control for, bad people, right? Bad people being, customers who commit fraud, right? And they're out there. I've seen it already. This is a true thing, Joe, that there's people in this world that are using not even just transportation, but a plethora of online services where they'll create fake IDs, create fake credit cards. Somehow the credit cards will work, and we just can't control for it. We just have to remember that the world is not a perfect place, and just be thinking about these things as we run our businesses.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks again, everybody. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be in touch till next time. See you, everyone.